and welcome to Triggered Care. I'm Alex, and today we're doing a story time. This particular story I just referred to as the Hickey story. Uh, this is from my high school days, sophomore year. You know, the passionate times of teenage love. I was dating a fellow choir geek who I was very passionately in love with. Anyway, we used to hang out after school sometimes, make out a little bit. One time, the Hickey story time. We were making out in the orchestra room, practice rooms, like kids do. And he was giving me some hickeys. He was nibbling on my neck a little bit, and I was enjoying it as a hormonal teenage girl. Afterwards, I went home, wore my hair down. I always rode to school with my mom before I got my license, so she was driving me to school the next day, and I still had my hair down covering my neck. My hair was long enough to kind of cover stuff, so I was safe for that, but I had oral surgery that day. The day after I got the hickeys, I was scheduled to get a tooth removed that just would not come out on its own. So I was going to get picked up early from school to get this oral surgery. So in the morning at school, I'm trying to plot with my friends of how to hide these hickeys from my mother, because I'm terrified of her finding out. I don't want to be punished. I don't want her to keep me away from my boyfriend. So me and my friends, we're brainstorming, and we're in science class, and we're working with iodine that day. And the teacher mentions how if it gets on your skin, it will stain it for a while. It's a stain that doesn't come out easily. So we come up with a great idea. Let's color my hickeys to kind of look like iodine. And then I'll just tell my ma that in science class, this iodine splashed on my neck and made hickey-like spots. Then, and it was just the iodine. It was an iodine mishap. So that was the plan that I was going with. Now, don't judge me. I'm not a good liar. I'm uncomfortable with lying. So that was the best that I could come up with at that time. So Ma picks me up sometime around lunch, and she sees the hickeys. It's daylight. My hair can't cover it forever. And she asked me about it, and I explained the iodine accident that happened in science class. It splashed up, it landed on my neck, made it look like hickeys on my neck. She looks very skeptical. She's just like, So she drives me to the oral surgeon. I sit down. They pump me full of drugs. I don't remember much after that. I mean, I was pumped up full of drugs. I saw some groovy stuff before passing out. I was still conscious though. I don't remember it. When I come to, I'm at home, and I'm sleepy anyway, and there's cotton in my mouth from the blood and whatnot. And so I, take a nap. Next day I wake up, and I'm getting ready for school. We head into the car, and we're driving to school. And Ma lets me know that while I was doped up on those drugs, she questioned me about the hickeys. And I stuck to my iodine story. I apparently stuck with the iodine explosion explanation and swore to Jesus that they were not hickeys. So, they must not be hickeys. And I remember that exact moment where I'm like, yes! Somehow the power of God helped me lie while I was drugged off my ass. So, I just counted that as a victory. So I'm at school. This is later in the day. This is for last hour. And my school had block scheduling. So your last class was 90 minutes, and you had 4 classes a day. So it was right before my last class. I'm stopping by a la carte for a snack. Usually I got a cookie or a bag of chips or whatever. I think I got a cookie that day. I can't remember. But I was stopping there for a snack. The lunch lady is eyeing me up quite a bit, and I noticed that because I have my hair up in a ponytail. I don't care about the hickeys anymore. I was harassed about it early in the day by classmates, so I just had no shame at this point. Just everybody look and laugh. So, but she's eyeing it pretty weirdly, and I kind of just dismiss it like whatever. I got to get to class. I go to Spanish. About 10 minutes into class, there's a knock at the door, and the lunch lady is there, and she asks to talk to me out in the hall. I go out in the hall, and there's two lunch ladies there now, and they're asking me about the marks on my neck. And my first response was, why? Why are you asking this? And then it dawns on me, they think that I have choke marks on my neck. These bruises sort of look like a hand. So I go, oh, no, no, no. These are Hickey's, my boyfriend. And then I told them my boyfriend's name. My boyfriend so-and-so, he's the one who gave me these Hickeys. They look skeptical, and they're looking at each other. They send me back to class. A few minutes pass by, and then there's a call to the classroom, and I'm called down to the principal's office. So I go into the principal's office, and this principal, oh, he gave you the creepy feelings just being around him. He was an older gentleman. He was just too touchy-feely for a principal. I mean, no principal should be touching students anyway. But, so I go in. He comes up to me real close, and then he puts his fingers on my neck, like tracing the outline of my hickeys. And he's going like, oh yeah, those don't look like hickeys. That looks like a hand mark. And I'm reassuring him, no, my boyfriend so-and-so, he sucked on my neck and he gave me these hickeys. You can call him down and you can ask him about it and he will tell you. And so he's like, okay, we'll talk to him about it. And they sent me back to class. About 10 minutes pass by, call down to the classroom. I get called back down to the principal's office. This time when I go into the principal's office, it's the creepy old principal along with the school police officer there. And they're both mumbling to each other and talking to each other. And then they look at me and go, you need to tell us what's up with your neck. And I tell them, I'm like, I'll tell you what's up with my neck. I got hickeys on my neck. And the principal let me know that they just talked to so-and-so, my boyfriend, and he says that he didn't leave hickeys on my neck. And I was getting mad, and I'm like, you call so-and-so down here right now, and you have him tell you in front of me that he didn't leave these hickeys on my neck. And so they're like, okay, call so-and-so down. So they got my boyfriend down there. He comes in. And, oh, that little pooper. He would not look me in the eye. And he comes in, he looks at the cop sitting there, he looks at the principal sitting there, and they're asking him, son, you gotta tell us the truth now. Did you leave those hickeys on her neck? And my boyfriend says, nope. I was wondering about those too. I'm worried too. Okay, thank you. You can go back to class. And at that moment, I mean, I was searing lasers into that boy. I tell you what, if looks could kill, I would have killed him right there. I was so mad. Because now they're thinking that I'm lying to cover something up. Which, out of all the times, I have been beat. I have been, abused. But the one time they actually pay attention is when it's my boyfriend giving me hickeys. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, they send me back to class. They're like, well, we need to talk about this. Go back to class. So I go back to class. I don't know, 10, 20 minutes pass. It's getting to near the end of the day. And another call comes in. And of course it's for me. And of course I got to go down to the principal's office. So I walk on down to the principal's office. And this time when I go in, there's the old creepy principal. There's the police officer. And there's my mother. And my mother is ranting her butt off at the cop and the principal going, "Oh my goodness. Well, I know that this guy doesn't like her, and I know that this guy has shown aggression towards her." And she's naming off my friends. She's naming off my coworkers. She's naming off anybody that she's heard me say their name in the last year. She's naming those people off as potential predators. Now, the principal and the police officer are looking at each other like, what in God's name is going on? This is very peculiar. I am begging them. I'm like, please get so and so, my boyfriend, back down here. Please. Like, just have him come down here right now and explain to you what's going on. So they're like, all right, fine. So they call so and so, my boyfriend, back down there. And he comes in, and he finally took a look at my face, the freaking coward. And he could see how mad I was. He could see my ma there. He could see the cop there. He could see the principal there. And all he says is, "Yeah, I did it." And I was just so exhausted by this point. Like, I've been questioned and called a liar. And I kind of did it to myself. I convinced my mother that they weren't Hickeys. At least that's what she told me. And then it comes back to bite me in the ass. And part of it was because some of the teachers at that school knew that my parents had abusive problems. So I'm sure that the lunch ladies probably looked into it a little bit and was like, oh crap. But they should have called that 911 cord at a different time, not on the one time that it's, oh no, this is just regular teenage girl stuff. I mean, there's plenty other times I went to school with bruises and they never called me into the principal's office. So there's the Hickey story. I mean, it's different. It's not really traumatic. It's more of just, a ridiculous predicament to be in. So, I hope you liked it. I hope you have a good one.